Hey, good morning. Looks a little different in here. Holy cow. Little sadness. Look, even a bottle of cock. Look at that. A bottle of cock. Which way am I going? There we go. Little bottle of cock in the morning. How about that for a surprise? Hopefully we don't get any ding dongs this morning. I'm drinking water because I didn't go get any creamer. I just didn't feel like drinking coffee without creamer. Yesterday, I'm like, yeah, I'll drink coffee without creamer. But I'm going to run. I think I'm going to go get donuts for the Finnish carpenters. And I'll get some Quick Trip coffee. So, yeah, a little surprise yesterday when the movers came. Now, when they scheduled us, I thought they said Wednesday. But then my wife said, don't forget the movers are coming Thursday. I'm like, Thursday? Thought it was Wednesday. She goes, nope, it's Thursday. It was Wednesday. We got it done. I'm glad I worked so hard. I'm glad I worked so hard Tuesday afternoon and Tuesday night, because otherwise it would have been it was a shit show as it was. It was going to be a shit show no matter how much work I put into it, really. It wasn't that bad. They did a good job. We made 2 trips. We got some stuff over here. Well, actually, quite a bit got moved. Yeah, they moved a lot more than I thought. I didn't even realize that until just now. So we got all that. The unfortunate thing is my shelving units are not being put together until next week. So I've got a giant mess. Even more unfortunate is there's still some carpenters using my card room for their tools and measuring things and different stuff. So I don't have real full access to how I want to lay it out, which is not ideal. Yesterday was kind of a logistical nightmare because we still have Finnish carpenters working pretty much throughout the entire house. We had a company that was supposed to deliver decking to finish the porch and deck. They didn't bring it, but they picked stuff up. And apparently like half of the order was in and they drove over anyway, but only to pick up returns. It's like, why wouldn't you just bring what you have? I don't know. What else? So then we had, our cabinets are going in, closets. So I had to have them move out of the driveway so the movers could park in the driveway. It took a while. So then they had to run like long extension cords all the way out to the street to do their cutting. And it's just we carpet went down before the painters come. We've still got finish work going in, and the painters are starting today. But fortunately, they're not doing the interior. They're going to do exterior work and prep inside, and then not do inside until next week. They're actually going to work over the holidays, Monday and Tuesday, the 3rd and 4th. So it's just been these last couple of weeks have been taxing. Ugh. So we still have a lot, and I told the main guy at the moving company, we were unloading the first load, and that was just this room. That was just this room minus like my stuff, and actually a lot of this shelf. I'm just like, let's just leave all of this shelf, and then once they leave, I can move the stuff that I want them to move, because there's a lot of like Blue Jays. There's 10,000 Blue Jays cards over here. So I've been working on putting boxes, and you might be able to see over box 16 here. Maybe not, but there's some boxes that I was putting over there last night. So all non-store inventory, and I'm yawning. I woke up in the middle of the night, couldn't get back to sleep. So it's the next. Oh my God, we still have like 2 full weeks of this. So expect me to be delayed just because the alarm is coming earlier and earlier, it seems. So expect 7:15 maybe. I hope to power through and not miss any episodes. Let's see. Between now and the move, I don't think I'm not going anywhere. No shows between now and then. And the wedding will be completely moved in for the by the time I leave for the wedding. So looks like episode 1000 will still be sometime in September. So let's see. I think June. I mean, it might not be until June 13th by the time we move in. And then I leave for a long weekend on June 14th. Hey, welcome to your new nice house. You're leaving for 4 days. And then you're back for a week. And then you're leaving for 5 days. So that's where we're at. Deep breaths. So, but we got it good. They did a good job. I don't think any of them had ever moved 3 million baseball cards. They said, well, this was we underestimated this job. And I'm like, when you said it would take a day, I'm like, a day? Even with 5 guys and a 6th that was helping out. That's nope. Made 2 trips. So I think it's going to be as far as trips go with the truck, I think there's still a solid 1, 2. I think there's still another 2.5 trips. I think there's going to be another 2 trips with just cards. And then the rest of my stuff in like the rec room, I think that can be bundled with other household stuff, like my furniture, TV. So I consider the rest of the stuff just kind of a half trip. Beer fridge that's in the other room. Oh shit! I still have that back there. Oh, it might be 3 trips. I think it might be 3 trips. So I've got 2 shelves. I got a big shelving unit back here, a small shelving unit. I've got a shelving unit in the bathroom, and I've got a shitload of cards in the other room. It's going to be another probably 3 trips. So that's where we're at. I want to talk about Topps today. I need to go back in. I need to timestamp because people might be tuning in. You're talking about moving. I want to hear Topps. So I want to talk about Topps today. Topps sent out a letter to card shops about a week ago, maybe a little over a week now. And it had some, and I've got some of the points, the 2 main points that I think that were first put out on social media. The rest of the points were just kind of like standard. And really, when you think about it, a lot of the points that were brought up are pretty standard in a lot of goods that are put out in stores and retail. So it's just foreign to the hobby, the card industry. So I want to talk about the town hall meetings that were held this week. I see Joe Webster's in the house. He manages a shop in the Atlanta metro area. Was privy to this call yesterday. Can offer details if you need them. I do have some details, but I may need you to maybe fill in some blanks. But I did talk to somebody that was in on the call. They called me right after their call and filled me. And I was actually driving back from round 1 of the move and got a quick phone call in to hear about this town hall meeting that Topps held. So I've got a couple details, but couple touched on the main points, I think. So we're going to talk about that today. Alex, good morning. How about them Yankees? 4th perfect game in Yankees history. Domingo Germán, who's on my fantasy team. I mentioned I woke up in the middle of the night I just woke up you know what? I know exactly why I woke up in the middle of the night, because I had sugar late. I bought these like apple pie things from Costco, and I threw them in the air fryer. They were good, but not at 9 p.m. Sugar ain't good at 9 p.m. So I woke up wide awake, like 1:30. I'm just kind of perusing the socials, and they're like, Yankees no hitter. And I'm like, wait, Domingo pitched tonight. Domingo Herman pitched a no hitter, because he might be one of the last pitchers. Actually, not. He would not be on my short list of pitchers that I would expect to throw a no hitter or perfect game. He's very streaky, and I know this because I've had him on my fantasy team. He's very streaky, but he tends to strike out. And actually, his strikeout totals aren't that high. He's been streaky. So pitched a perfect. I mean, he played Oakland. He pitched against Oakland. So I guess, hey, it is what it is. No, a perfect game. It's a perfect game. He did strike out 9 against Oakland. His last start against Seattle, he only went 3 1/3 innings, allowed 8 earned runs, and struck out 4. The time before that, he pitched twice against Boston, 2 innings, 7 earned runs, 1 strikeout, 2 walks. And then the game against Boston before that, he went 6 innings, only allowed 1 earned run, struck out 5. The time before that, he played at LA against the Dodgers, and Herman went 6 2/3, only allowing 1 earned run and 6 strikeouts. So look at that. 6 1/3 against Seattle on May 29th, 6 1/3, 6 2/3, 6 flat, 2, 3 1/3, perfect game. That's Domingo Herman. And streaky. But hey, I like those 9 Ks, those 9 innings, those 0 earned runs. That helps the old fantasy league matchup. Good morning, Cooter. Just go about your day, Bo. We've got it from here on. You don't need me. The chat was popping yesterday morning, and I was just shipping. Camera was rolling, I was shipping, and the chat chatted away. Joe Webster, what's up? Rich Clyde in the house. Whoa, what's going on? I've got some phlegm or something. Uncle Rich, curious if Box 13 survived the journey. Yeah, well, no, yes and no. It did not survive the journey because it didn't go anywhere. So Box 13 is still over here. Oh, it's right behind. There you go. There's Box 13. So my inventory won't make the move until like the final day. So that'll be the last thing. My eBay store stuff will be the last to go because I'll be shipping out of here until the last day, and then once I get my area set up, and then I'll move my stuff. Although what was good is I did have 3 existing shelving units at the new house. So those are filled with cards. The 3 shelves they took out of here, they put back together down in the basement at the new place. But since I don't have like space to put those in the large card room because there's big rolls of carpet in there still. Carpenters are using it, so just left them empty. But I put those shelving units in my shipping area, what will be basically like this room at the new house. It'll be this room minus all of the other stuff. It'll just be my inventory, which is kind of what this is now. There's inventory. My desk has a bunch of random shit, although I guess those shelves back in the corner. But anything you see back behind me, there's some Cubs that kept behind. I think this is you can't see it. Right down there, there's a case of like 2016 Topps update, I think. So I went back over yesterday afternoon and put those shelves kind of laying out where I want them to go. And I think this table, let's see. I think this is a 4-foot table, so this actually might fit. It might be a perfect fit of a shelving unit, this table, another shelving unit, one on my side, and then one on the other side. But I want to get my shelving guy that's going to put them all together. He's going to come over next Wednesday or Thursday with his crew. And then I also want like some consolidation, so I have like 2 shelves instead of just one. So let's see. Victor's in the house. Good morning. Andy Mack is here. Good morning. Looking forward to a move update. So yesterday's move was just only cards. Our GC was there, and he like saw them all, and I'm like, that's like a third or a fourth of the cards. That's basically 2 trips out of about 5 total. So there's going to be 2 more, well, maybe 3 more. 3 more. So 5 trips. Yeah, so 2 of 5. So what's 2 out of 5? 2 out of 5 is 4 out of 10, 40%. 40%. Is that 40%? It must be. Let's see. Hall of Fame card collector, good morning. Made for riveting TV. Mark Marinello's in the house. David, good morning. Herman is here. Jay Wishy, what's up? Didn't expect to talk about Bo's caulk. I know. Didn't even know I had a caulk. Caulk. Didn't even know I had a caulk. Donald Davis, good morning. Matty Ice is here. What's up? Herman, good morning. The room has developed an echo, I bet. And some sunlight, too. Let's see. Joe said, did you remind the wife you were right? I did not drop that little nugget in. I did not. Good morning, Mark Hoyle. Redbridge in the house. Good morning. Greg is here. Good morning. Good morning, Kyle. It looks kind of lonely. I know it does. I feel empty. It's like I'm in 2 different, I've got cards in one place, cards in another. I'm not whole. I'm not going to be whole for a couple weeks. Scott is here. Good morning. John Evans, what's up? Cooter says you should put plastic tarps over your cards to help prevent dust and paint overspray from getting on them. Fortunately, it'll be all closed up. It'll be all closed up in that room. There will be, I'm trying to think. The only dust, because the trim carpenters are done today downstairs. Carpet's already in. The cards are in unfinished space, so the doors will be closed, and so there won't be any overspray. So there's pretty limited in any dust after today, really. So I'm not too concerned about dust and paint. Let's see. Mark says Bo drinking water doesn't quite seem right. It doesn't. I feel off. Drinking water. I'm in an empty room. Feels very odd. Are you in danger of having to rent your current house back after closing? No. Nope. Fortunately, no. I mean, there was a point in time that we had to really think about, like, okay, what's a plan B going to be? So that fortunately we're not going to be. So adding to Zach's question, we did sell this house. We close on this house on July 14th. So our like final move, like we move everything in like July 10th, 11th, and 12th, or like basically that. Well, we might have that moving company the entire week before like 10th, 11th, or whatever. Monday through is the 14th of Friday. So Monday through Thursday, we may have to move every day that week. But no, we are not in danger of a rent back. Let's see. July, not June, you dope. Can't buy time. Some don't think time is valuable. Tracy, good morning. Last day of vacation. Tell your limbers to use something bigger than a Subaru. Where is box 13? Box 13 is safe right behind me. There it is. You can't go. This damn chair, like I can't show. This damn chair is too wide. It's back there. Don't worry. It's back there. Let's see. I thought all the hobby shops closed immediately when the letter went out. Limbers, are you typing with boxing gloves again? I still don't understand why this hobby cares so much about the business side of things, then get pissed whenever someone looks at it like a business and not a hobby. That's a good statement. It's kind of when it comes to how the trickle down effect, if it comes down to a trickle down effect, I'm concerned about the industry. If it's like Beckett hires a new CEO or people that hop from job to job, like that doesn't concern me whatsoever. But the letter that went out to card shops, that was concerning because I have about 10 card shops that set up at the Madison Card Show, and I'm friends with them all. And so that's concerning, just like if your friend has something happen to him at his job, like there's a little concern you have. But also there's a trickle down that affects the consumer. How will this affect the consumer? Will it be a positive or will it be a negative? So that's the side where, and it doesn't affect everybody. I know Zach doesn't buy boxes or packs, if not often. So I don't think it's as much of a concern to somebody who, doesn't buy packs and boxes or frequents card shops. If you're a frequent card shopper, yeah, I think it could be a little concerning. Depending on their position. If you're only collecting vintage and don't collect modern, it doesn't really concern. But if you're actively shopping at a card shop, buying new product, I think it's definitely a concern. The second part of Zach's statement here, and then get pissed whenever someone looks at it like a business and not a hobby. That's a great point. It almost does seem like a double standard. Like we talk about the industry, but then we have this holier than thou, some collectors that consider them the true collector. I'm a true collector. They don't like the business side of it. It's a good point. John says, do you sell on ComC? I do not. If not, are the costs too much or is it too much of a hassle to get them to get to them and upload it? Yes and yes. I would say both. My concern, my hesitation with ComC is A, for what I like, my bread and butter, what I sell is not worth submitting to ComC. And I really don't know what sells on ComC, and I guess I could try it out, but I don't want to. And I had a great conversation with a couple guys at a recent Madison Card Show about ComC. And I was kind of picking their brain because they're both active sellers on ComC. And basically what sells is not really what I have in my wheelhouse. It's not really my wheelhouse. I thought ComC would have been a perfect place for my relics and autos of those basketball cards. eBay auctions certainly weren't a way to go. They're not moving at Buy It Now. And I was told that, probably not. ComC probably wouldn't be a good place for those. So, and then the second side of it is one of my least favorite parts. If I'm listing cards, it's the comping, and you still have to do that. Like there's still work involved. Like with ComC, it's not just send them your cards and poof, the money rolls in. No, with anything in life, in sales, you have to know what sells. So I'm still like not completely sure on that. But B, the comping is still there. Like you send your cards there, and then once they're uploaded, then I have to go in and price them. And that's like the most annoying part of listing for me outside of, most of the stuff I list, like, oh, this is $1.50, $1.50, a lot of stuff that's in the $5 to $10 range, like relics, just, oh, this is a $10 card. This is this is a cheap autograph, $5, $3, $4. So a lot of stuff I just kind of have that, you have that knowledge that you just build up over time. But for stuff that I would send to ComC, it probably wouldn't be stuff that I know off the top. It would be like, okay, I know this is more than $5, more than $10, but I don't know what it is. So it's a little bit of both, a little bit of column A, a little bit of column C, column B, and column C, I guess. Good morning, Flawed Thinker. Let there be background light. We've got additional light in the basement today because the hobby talks out of both sides of their mouths. Spelling optional. Good morning, Angel Baby Cards in the house. We've got Dan here. What's up, Dan? John says, yeah, but how was all German's release point? Only thing that matters. Oh, Herman. Let's see. Where are we at? We're going to talk about tops today. Talk about tops. Zach says, correct. On the same chat, I hear people asking about cost of goods, what they pay per card, but at the same time, pissed when a for-profit company is trying to control their interests. There's truth in that. There is truth in that. I'll stick to my budget, enjoy my cardboard, and keep my mouth shut as I don't sell cards as of today. Tracy's going to watch later. Can't get a decent feed going here at the cabin. Have a great day. You as well. Enjoy the last day of vacay. Angel Baby's got his coffee. I'm going to have to I'm going to make a quick trip run, get some donuts, get some coffee. Box 13 sweats like Bo. I'm probably already sweating. Hey, maybe not. Wow. This is like a new record, 45 minutes, no sweat under the pits. I tend to sweat more because this t-shirt, and you're like, why are you wearing a t-shirt under your polo, John? I don't know why. Here, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. This was actually brought up at the bachelor party I was at this past Saturday. This is probably too much. This is in the TMI category. But somebody said, and I think they were talking about a college buddy that, somebody that they went to college with. I don't know if it was a buddy, but it was somebody they went to college with. And he took his shirt off when he went number 2. And apparently he did that in college, and maybe he still does it today. And I'm like, I did that. And I thought I did it for longer than I took my shirt off when I went poo. But I eventually grew out of it. Probably later than most. But I was in grade, I don't know, 5th grade. But that's kind of late to be taking your shirt off to go poo. How the hell did I get on this topic? I don't know. But yeah, till 5th grade, I was taking my shirt off to go poop. There's a reason that I went there. Oh, the whole shirt thing. So, I don't know. So that was just I knew it was even when I finally broke that habit. I knew leading up to breaking the habit, I knew it was weird, but I just did it because it was what I always did. And I've always, although I have been, there's 2 reasons why I wear a white t-shirt underneath a polo or underneath another t-shirt. Here's why. Number 1, I don't like the feeling of my belly hitting the metal of my belt because I always wear a belt. So that's number 1. I don't like that feeling. Number 2, it's freaking cold down here. And so I need to layer up. Even if it's 90 degrees outside, I need to layer up in the house because it's an ice box. Big time coup at the new house. Zone heating. I have my own thermostat in the basement. So that puppy can be at 75 Actually, that's kind of warm. 73. I can open windows. So I'll have a sliding door with a screen. So on a hot summer day, I want that humidity coming in. Yes. I can wear short sleeve shirts in peace and not be frozen out. But yeah, I'm sweat free. Oh, we got a little precipitation under there. Just what you wanted to see first thing in the morning. Bo's armpits. A couple of the movers were grinding up on box 13. It must be giving off a scent. Good morning, Harlan. Peace out, Pat. What's up? You have a shelf guy. Brag. I do. I have a shelf guy. Let's see. Does any of the mover guys collect ball cards? No. Because I was thinking, like, I wonder if any of these guys, like when they first came down, and if they did, they'd be like, oh, and they wouldn't be moving. They'd want to talk cards, because that's what I would do if I had a job moving cards or moving stuff, and somebody had this many cards and I was a card collector, I would like probably get fired because I would just be talking about baseball cards the entire time. So no, none of the guys. The main guy, he is a Cubs fan, so we talk a lot of Cubs. Angel Baby says, thinking to myself, no idea why Bo is spending so much time lately talking about a storage room with responsibility. Then I finally got it. Home-based business. Yes. You got it. Wish I had more room myself. Cards and boxes all over my room at the moment. Same here. I got cards everywhere. I've got a stack of cards on the coffee table upstairs because I list cards on the couch sometimes. My office is where I list cards, so I've got a couple stacks there. My rec room is filled with cards because I ran out of room in here and in there. I've got cards in the bathroom. Not ideal. Paul, good morning. Ed is here. What's up, Ed? 2 trips. How big is the moving truck? I don't know. It wasn't 53 foot, but it was decent sized. I don't know. What's a typical big moving truck? I don't know. 33? I'm trying, because I kind of know this because I like ogle RVs. You know how I have this obsession with getting an RV. So I bet it was a 33 foot, because I know 53 from my previous job in transportation. So I know what a 53 foot trailer is. I would say 33 footer. Dan says, think you said you bought several of the metal shelving units. Are you keeping or tossing the plastic ones you have? So I used to have a bunch of, so these plastic ones behind me, and there's one right here. I think I've got 1 or 2, but I bet I had 20 of these. But they bow, B-O-W. They bow with the weight. That's why I went with these heavy duty metal wire racks. I gave away like 10. I put them on the Nextdoor app and said free plastic shelving units, and they were gone in like 20 minutes. But we kept a few around. Just, it's perfect for just a couple boxes. Like I got supplies. So yeah, I do have some plastic shelves. So I'll probably put one in the garage. Not with cards on it, but just for all the tools that I have. I'll put my hammer and my 2 screwdrivers on the plastic shelf. Let's see. John says, listen to Cooter. Don't be the what just happened segment of society. Unfinished space is even more concerning. Hall of Fame card collector says, I'm renovating my room right now. But this is an unfinished space. This is an unfinished space. Let's see. Closed up or not, does the space have air vents? Yes. Good point. Hall of Fame card collector renovating his room. Let's see. You just kept saying you were moving June 13th, July 13th. It is. See, I get confused because it's June right now and it's July when we're moving, July 13th. Nick, what's up? Examine Baseball is here. I'm in the process of purchasing a smaller apartment than the one I rent after living in a 3-bedroom for 24 years. Oh my God, a lot of downsizing. I cannot imagine that. Anyone have any requests? Let me know. Oh man, I had to when I lived in Macomb. The first place was a small 1-bedroom, so I kept like all my shit at my parents' house. Then I moved into like a big house, but it was like split into apartments, but we had the main floor. So I was able to bring more shit. And then we had such a huge living room. It spanned like the entire length of the house. We bought an air hockey table, an arcade, a stand-up full-size arcade game. So then I moved the next house I moved into was another big house, and we had like an additional room that was the game room for the air hockey table and arcade game. But then I moved back into the apartment life, and I had to downsize, and I was like desperate. I sold the arcade game back to the guy I bought it from at like a fraction of what I paid. And then I sold the air hockey table at a fraction of the cost. Because I think it was only a year old. I think I sold the air hockey table. It was brand new. I paid like, I don't know, $800 for it. And I sold it for $100 a year later. And it didn't get used that much. It was certainly a poor investment. So I do not envy the downsizing mission. TD Sports Cards, what's happening? Nick says it's been hard to think about what to keep, sell, donate. Yeah, that's tough. Searching for my Herman rookie gold. I know I have it somewhere. I don't think I have any. If I did, it probably sold overnight. But he only has somebody. I think Zach said he only has like 187 cards on Trading Card Database, which is a very small amount for a modern player. Let's see. I don't have any active listings of Domingo in my eBay store. Let's type in Domingo Acevedo. Oh, I think did Joe get one? Let's see. It's on a big Yankees order, but Domingo. Oh, yeah. So he has a 2021 Topps Heritage card. Oh, that's Acevedo. Yeah, I'll have to look up to see what products he's in. But at least one is 2021 Topps Heritage, but I don't even think that's a rookie card. TCDB. Domingo Herman threw a perfect game last night for the Yankees against the Oakland A's. Going to talk Topps today. Domingo Herman. Going to talk Topps. They had a little. Oh, interesting. So he has a first Bowman from 2015. Is that regular Bowman or is that Bowman draft? Oh, his rookie card is in 2017, it looks like. So yeah, I don't even think I'll have those in my quarter boxes. Those will be in my just random common boxes. But now I know what to look for. The secondary market is the only thing ever to be concerned about. That is the hobby, the highway. Everything else is side streets. Stop caring about such nonsense, but people want to talk about it. We have our opinions. What is in mythological box 13? That's a good question. Let's just look up tab. I'll tell you what, I started box 13 with these Cooperstown. So tab 13A, there was about 100 cards from Panini Cooperstown, I think is what this set is. Cooperstown collection, yes. There's 2 left. So I sold like 98 of those Cooperstown collections. 13B, sales are a little slower. More of those. But there's sold about half of those. So those, good sellers. So just eBay inventory. It's not insulin or clean water. It's baseball cards, which every one of you folks say there are too many of. But here we are. Here we are. I was thinking yesterday, if modern is understood to begin around, say, 1980 forward, then it seems vintage is now 1981, then 1982, then 1983, and so forth. Your thoughts? I definitely think it's a moving target in the general scheme. I know many disagree with that. But if you say, okay, I was born in 1982. So I am not vintage. So I can accept the 70s being vintage. I don't accept the 80s being vintage. But if you were born in a 23-year-old was born in the year 2000, if you were born in the year 2000, what do you call the 80? What do you call the era? Do you just call it the 80s? So is that what we're going to do? We are going to stop time. And vintage is only 1952 to 1979. Then what are the rest of the eras going to be called? The 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s, 2020s, 2030s. Ultra modern is vintage, modern, ultra modern. Those are all generic terms. Ultra modern is a moving target. Ultra modern is no longer 2020. 3 years ago, it was ultra modern. But guess what? Ultra modern is now 2023 and maybe to an extent 2022. So I see vintage as a moving target, but it is in the eye of the beholder. Vintage is not 1985 to me, but to somebody that's 23 years old, it's certainly vintage. 1990s basketball cards, certainly vintage to many people out there. Not to me. I mean, I've had it multiple times. People come up to me at card shows, and it's actually, the funny thing is, it's usually concerning basketball. And they're like, do you have any vintage basketball? And I'm like, no. And I've learned to now say, I don't have any vintage, but I've got 90s. Because every one of them every person that's asked me, and it's like 3 or 4, so it's not like a huge sample size. Like, do you have any vintage basketball? No. And then they start thumbing through. Oh yeah, you've got a whole stack of 1990 NBA hoops. Like, well, that's not vintage, but it is to them. So I feel that it is a moving target. 1990 will never be vintage to me, but it is right now to some people, and it will continue on. Like, we can't just stop time and say this period it's not like a prehistoric era and the Mesozoic era and all those eras, like where you can just, okay, we're going to just stop time. I guess you could. I choose not to. So that's my thought. I say vintage is a moving target. I've talked about that numerous times, and I will stick to my guns on that. And I know people will disagree. I know John's going to disagree, and others will, but that's my thought. Once your cards go to ComC, you lose control. I can pull cards off of eBay at any time and sell or give them away at any time. And that's another good point. Like, basically when my cards go into tab 13A, that's where they stay. 13A, that's where you stay. But if somebody, like, really, I can look something up and be like, I mean, there's been times where I miscount. Like, this is another thing where we are going to talk about Topps and their town hall meetings. I apologize. We'll get to it if that's why you're here. But there are times where I miscount. And that's when I see people on social media say, oh, this seller said he's out of stock. Now, if I couldn't find a Domingo Herman first Bowman or rookie card that sold for $1.50, if somebody said, oh, I'm out of stock, that's a little curious. But if it's a 1999 Fleer Ultra Jose Canseco, it's like, okay, it's legit. And shit happens. Like, especially in my old method of dividing up into years, Is Sal Dougie here? Sal Dougie ordered some cards from me, and there was a Tim Salmon that I can't find. And that's happened. It happens more times than I would like to admit. And that's why now that I have my new, but even sometimes I've got a couple tabs that I had to completely rearrange because I put cards in the wrong, like they were one off. So there's still like, it's tab 4L. I got to go find that. And I've got 2 tab 4Ls. So that happens. But when that happens, like say it's a 1989 Topps Wade Boggs. If somebody orders that and I look in my 1989, it's not here. I can go into my eBay. I can just search my store, type in 1989 Topps Wade Boggs. Oh, I've got 7 others. And then I can pull it from 13A. And then I can delete that one, find the one that's 13A in my store, delete it, and then ship that one out. And that's happened multiple times. Not like it's not a common occurrence, but it's happened a few times. So that's what I do like about being in control of my inventory. And you don't have that control when you send it off to a third party. Let's see. Angel Baby says, yep, how the hell can vintage remain vintage in perpetuity? Absolutely. John says you're wrong, but I say you're right. Suddenly vintage is changing it. Vintage will always change. Vintage will always change. Eye of the beholder. Merle in the house. What's up, Merle? Merle says something and I skipped too far ahead. Where are we at? Where are we at? Where are we at? We're going to get to Topps eventually. We got to get through the chat. There we are. Merle says, I've got 17,000 cards on ComC. Every one of them I bought on ComC. I'm not a fan of sending my cards in and waiting for them to scan them and then price them, but I do like buying cards on there too. And that's something that I know there's good business in buying and it's already there. You don't have to ship it out. It's already in your port or whatever they call it. So that would be something. I mean, I just have, balls in the air, a lot with eBay that, I'm not saying I won't ever look into it, but right now it's not on top of mind, but it's on the radar. Cooter says it's not that true collectors don't like the business side of Topps. Many don't care if Topps ever produces another card. In my opinion, people don't like Topps impacting what they can make selling and flipping. Definitely agree with that. From what I'm seeing, updated vintage as of 2023 is now around 82, 83. And that's I think that's how like the antiques go. Antique is like 40, 30, maybe even 30 years for antiques. What's up, baseball card curmudgeon? We've got Shane is here. He's at a campsite. Shane and Tracy camping. Paying fees upfront rules ComC out for me. And that's another big one. The upfront, I don't have any insertion fees on eBay, but I would on ComC. That's another one. Talking Tatis, good morning. Is there an echo in that canyon? I think so. John says I need new glasses. I think I do. First, I need to clean them, but I probably do need new glasses. Let's see. 50 cents a card to list. ComC, you pay upfront monthly charges and 15 or 20% charge when you cash out. Not for me. I'm on that page. Dat dude from Duryea, what's up? Nice guest stars yesterday. Harlan says George Costanza. I think maybe if you actually used a man's deodorant instead of Secret, then you'd be better off. I've been giving it a lot of thought, and yes, I agree. Since I hate grading, seems it's just better to now buy sealed boxes from the past, as I don't need to convince anyone. Mark says, bought my first packs of 2023 Topps. 4 packs, 3 Otanis, 2 Judges. Nice. George Costanza would take his shirt off for number 2. Oh, would he really? And I've seen like every Seinfeld episode a million times, like everybody else. John says you pay 30 cents on eBay plus percentage to sell, so it's a wash on ComC. To sell, but on ComC, you pay to list. There's no listing fee on eBay. There's selling fees, and there's a selling fee on ComC. The Summer of George. It's just better to now just sell sealed boxes from the past, as I don't need to convince anyone. Dan was going to say the same thing. Now you'll have to take off 2 shirts to poop. Did you hear that Kimberly-Clark is asking big box stores to meet a new requirement for selling toilet paper? They have PAT levels now and need to limit brick and mortar sales versus online. Pissed. Layering was big in the 80s. That means Bo's style is almost vintage. Yes. And into the 90s. Layering was big in the 90s, early 90s. People from the big cities, in my experience, layer their outfits this way. They can manually adjust to climate changes in real time. Yeah, that's how I roll. I like to layer in the house, and then I like to wear hoodies. And then I can just like wear a polo under a hoodie. I should have done that. I should have just put this blue hoodie on without the white shirt and then thrown a hoodie over it. I might go change and do that. So I have I'm warm in this house. And then when I go take the dog for a walk, I can just shed the hoodie and I have my polo and we all live happily ever after. Mover Chief has a tragic story about his mom throwing out his baseball cards. I used to layer my shirts back in college in the mid to late 80s. It was the style du jour. Merle says the background looks like Bo had a very successful promotion. John is having trouble typing. Max says anything over 70 in a house is inhumane. Oh my God. Max, I'm curious when you say that. So we keep ours at like 68, 69. But it's probably 66 down here, 65 maybe. But upstairs, it's probably 69. Box trucks are 26 feet max, aka straight trucks. So it's probably a straight truck, probably 26 footer. Let's see. Had to sleep sitting up in my bed last night. The boxes of cards were on my bed, hitting me in the back as I sorted and dropped handfuls. Let's see. This is the room inside of the box. Does not include the people compartment. Your shelf guy loves you. I used to have a paint company and one customer would hire me to hang pictures for her. Those were the best jobs ever, right? Sean, what's up? Long time. Good morning. Hope all is well. Working on my game plan to get to the singles club table at the National before you. Oh, man, I am out of shape. So it's you don't have much competition from me. But I'll be there. I'll be there first thing Wednesday afternoon. As soon as those doors open, I'll be. I don't think. And here, the last national I was at 2 years ago when it was in Rosemont, I wore my Cubs cardometer, and I want to wear my Cubs cardometer, but what happens is I get stopped, and when I'm on a beeline to the singles club, I don't want to get stopped, and I got stopped a couple times. So what's this all about? I'm like, I'm missing valuables. People are beating me to good cards. So I think I'm going to scrap the Cubs cardometer on Wednesday so I can get to the singles club fastest. Although there's a lot of guys in a lot better shape than me that will get there faster. Let's see. Kyle says headed to Menards this afternoon, hoping I'm getting errands done in time for a stop at Jennings. Hey, there you go. You're in an unfinished basement that hasn't been under construction. Stress testing your house is stressing. Let's see. I like that channel where the guy sits in his recliner, types while looking at his computer screen. That gave me an idea. Grinding for good. What's up? I'm putting a comfy recliner in my bedroom to use this computer. There you go. Nick's in NYC. I'm going from an 850, 900 square foot, three bedroom in Queens to a 600 square foot, 1 bedroom in Queens. Space is expensive. Oh yeah. I do not envy that. Let's see. I got lucky with a 3-bedroom rental at a good price for years. Angel Baby's putting a comfy recliner in his bedroom. Ziggy Noah's here. Cheers to Ziggy. Got to get back to work. See you, Merle. A Glove and Beyond TV. What's up? Good morning. Downsizing is wild. I just sent people stuff to hopefully fit in their collections. Joe Trotto is here. What's up? Rookie. It's 2016 for Herman. Greg Atchison, what's up? George Costanza took his shirt off to drop deuces. Oh. And I was doing it before Seinfeld started. So I was trailblazing shirt taker offer while pooping. 2016 or 17. It looked like 17 to me. It looked like 2017 to me. If you want to sound foolish around seasoned card collectors, then bring up the sliding vintage thingy. Seasoned card collector. If I sound foolish around seasoned card collectors, I am perfectly okay with that. Perfectly okay with sounding foolish around seasoned baseball card collectors. Consider me a fool, because I am all about this sliding vintage scale. 1980 is a delineation caused by wholesale change in the hobby on many levels factors. In 2089, will 1985 be vintage? No, not to the seasoned card collectors, because it stops in 1979. Everybody's going to be dead. Vintage probably won't even be in the dictionary in 2089. Card honesty collectibles. Soon we will have a new term, ultra vintage. Hey, I like it. I think you're onto something. Credit to Card Honesty Collectibles, a new hobby term, ultra vintage. You sound uneducated on hobby history. Those who don't know history are doomed to repeat it. I'm a fool to my not fellow, because I'm not seasoned, to my seasoned card collectors. I sound a fool. Let's see. If me saying a sliding vintage scale is for vintage, it makes me sound foolish, I am 100% okay with that. You can't rewrite history. Vintage is not a moving target. It is based on an era. It's not a measure of time. Just stop. Disagree. Hard stop. Disagree. I call 71 on early modern junk wax era is junk wax era. Pre-73 is vintage for Mark Hoyle. See, you can't even decide where the vintage mark is. If multiple people can delineate, then is it a true definition of a time period? I say no. Fanatics terms will always change, except that. Now Cooter's telling Mark to shut up. Mark Marinello says you could also say vintage can be up to 1974 when Topps started to really mass produce. And other people will say you can put it in 1973 when they stopped doing, and I think that's where Mark was going, when they stopped producing series. I think that was 73, wasn't it? 73 or 74. So when you can't even have a wholesale agreement on when to stop that line, the line shouldn't exist. So if it's 73 for you, it's 74 for him, it's 79, it's 81. Why can't it be 85? Why can't it be 89? Why can't it be 94? Zach says it will be interesting to see the definition of vintage is passed down. Eventually, collectors of a certain era will pass, then to the next generation will define. Junk wax era collectors have killed hobby. I predict it will get passed on as there is a younger group of hobbyists collecting what has historically been called vintage. They are just less vocal about the perfection. I'm out of water. Mark says, many of the older dealers I've dealt with always use 73. Henry, what's up? John is with Max on temp. Pre-74, definitely the vintage definition during the junk wax era based on series change. I think 69 is inappropriate anywhere except in a car. Shane says, it's July 22nd, your next show in Madison. Yes. Next Madison Card Show, Saturday, July 22nd, Sheraton Hotel on John Nolan Drive. Should be back to at least a near sellout, if not a complete sellout for the July 22nd show. That's the Saturday right before the National. So Saturday, Madison Card Show, Wednesday, the National begins just 2 hours down the road in Rosemont. Max says, unless it's a bigger car, think big back end. Brian Wolf says, where are we at? Brian Wolf says, think I'm going to the National. Cheaper to drop off PSA sub than mailing my excuse to the wifey to go. When is the meetup? Want to be there on Wednesday, but also to meet y'all. We're going to do a Couch People meetup, Hobby Evolution meetup on Saturday after the show at Shoeless Joe's on Saturday after the show. Henry leaves his pants on to poop. I just made the list. Bink Scott in the house. Let's see. Angel Baby says, I'm a solid 14 years in the hobby, and personally, who cares what some arse clown thinks about his seasoning? There was a clip that surfaced of a dude that says he catches his poop and doesn't let it plop into the toilet. He catches it with TP in his hand and then drops it in the toilet. What? Oh, my goodness. Moving on. Andy Mack says, my 2021 Topps base cards identify as vintage. John says, typical millennials want the term handed to them, come up with a term and put it out there. Vintage. Vintage was a term before you were born, John. Vintage has always been there. It was there in the 1700s. I haven't listened in 30 minutes. I just follow the chat. 3 hours after release, product becomes junk wax. It's like driving a car, brand new car off the parking lot. Let's see. Take it easy. Stripes. My mentor who trained me had 40 years in the hobby. Yes, he'd laugh at me as I learned, but you get to laugh once you surpass the hobby arrogance. The hobby is constantly evolving thing. Zach says, I personally do not think junk wax era would be viewed so negatively if it didn't run parallel with the rookies for so many guys on PEDs. Double whammy. The fact a Palmeiro rookie is a quarter is ridiculous. I disagree because there's still Frank Thomas. Look at Frank Thomas rookies. You'll find those in quarter boxes. I mean, I'd be happy to find one in the quarter box, but they're out there in quarter boxes, 50-cent dollar boxes. So I don't think it totally has. Maybe is that a trickle down to just everybody in the era? I don't really think so because PEDs weren't really a big discussion and bad until what, 2005, 2006? And those cards were junk then. So I don't think that maybe it has affected it in some way, but I don't think overall it has. Let's see. Let's see. Where are we at? Let's see. Max says, poop catcher man is my hero. Let's see. Zach's thinking about big back ends. Oh, by the way, 14 years in the hobby. There you go. The average schnook. I like that. I'm no average schnook. So Topps had their town hall meetings yesterday. And so some of the points, I'm going to type it. Topps talk begins at 1:02. There you go. Henry says, back in the 80s, the equivalent mixed Fairfield-type blister packs almost never had any card before 79. Nearly impossible to find 78, 7, 6, 5. That's why 78 and older was vintage. There's another one, 78. I've come to realize the 88-92 score is the worst card run of all time, 0 charisma. Ooh, 88 score don't like. 89 score I love. But why do I love it? It's the nostalgia for me. 90 score I love because of nostalgia again. I think I was buying more packs as a kid in 1990. And score was like Panini Chronicles today. That's a good parallel, I think. That's a good comparison. Panini Chronicles today. Well, Panini Chronicles a couple years ago because now it's changed with the licenses. But Panini Chronicles a couple years ago and Score 1990 and 91 were very similar because it was overproduced junk, but it felt like you were getting a big hit. I still, not today, but a couple of years ago, I enjoyed opening Panini Chronicles because it felt like I was getting hits. And you are, but they're not worth anything. But it's okay because it's fun and you feel like you're getting a good hit. So that's my thought on Score. It's very comparable to modern Panini Chronicles. Back to Topps. Because I typed it in, so I don't want to go off on tangents for the people that want to skip ahead. So Topps sent out letters last week, or almost 2 weeks ago, to card shops. So there were two main points. 1 point, products purchased through an account. So these are direct accounts. So if a card shop wants a direct account from Topps, products purchased through an account are for distribution through the stores identified in the account. Information attached heretofore only. For clarity, products are for resale to direct consumers in a physical retail brick and mortar environment only in the product's original unopened form, i.e., no business to business or online sales unless otherwise agreed by Topps in writing. So I'm going to stop there. That's a run on. Oh wait, there were a couple sentences in there. So this apparently, and this again, I was not privy to the phone call, but somebody who was called me directly after their town hall meeting and told me that Topps kind of backpedaled on these points. So they added clarity to, even though they said for clarity, it wasn't clear enough, and they added more clarity. So products are for resale direct consumers in a physical retail brick and mortar environment only in the product's original unopened form, i.e., no business to business or online sales unless otherwise agreed by Topps in writing. So Topps backpedaled from this point, from my source told me, that there will be, so business to business is basically like Card Shop A is selling sealed Topps boxes to Card Shop B, okay? A lot of card shops you go to, they're like, well, my shop has most card shops do not have direct Topps accounts, Fanatics accounts. Most shops buy it from other dealers that do have direct accounts. I was going through like all the card shops in my area, and there's only like one or two, like 20%. That might even be a high number that have direct accounts. The other shops buy from the direct accounts. So DealerNet, if you're familiar with DealerNet, anybody can, I have a subscription to DealerNet. You can buy from card shops and you can get it's a small savings over like Blowout and the big time, third party retailer. Based on this letter, it seemed that Topps was not going to allow that. So basically it would shut down DealerNet. It would shut down non-direct accounts, like where they're going to have to buy it direct from Topps at what you and I, the average collector, will buy products at. Topps backpedaled apparently in this town hall meeting. They will allow business to business sales, but it's basically an embargo. I didn't catch the amount of time, but it's say 2 weeks, and I'm just pulling that number out of the air. So a product gets released today, June 29th. Direct account would not be able to sell that to another card shop for 2 weeks. It couldn't go on DealerNet for 2 weeks. And that's been pretty standard, at least on DealerNet. It goes up on pre-sale on Topps, but it's not available on DealerNet until, after release. So that point was cleared up. So there will be business to business, but there is an embargo on it. Online sales. This was another biggie for card shops. It sounds like they wouldn't be able to sell online. Well, there's more clarity. They can sell on their website. So Card Shop A has a website, cardshopA.com. They can list Topps products on cardshopA.com, but they can, and I don't know what they said, but I think they told me no third-party websites. So like Amazon, I'm like, eBay's a third-party site. Could you put it on eBay? And a lot of direct accounts, I think the biggest for them was selling to their own customer base. If they have their own customer base big enough, they don't need eBay. They don't need third parties because people just come to their website. Sure, eBay would give them more, but then when you can sell it direct on your website, erase the fees. So those points were cleared up. Okay, I want to get to the chat before we move on here. Talking Topps, and apparently through their town hall meetings with card shop owners yesterday, clarified some things, kind of backpedaled on these points. Let's see. Henry says, thanks for the crapload of John Tudor and Dan Quisenberry dupes Toys R Us blister packs. Let's see. Just pulled my 3 sets of 86 Topps baseball. How much cherry picking? Yeah. Viva la Fanatics. There's a ton of wax that moves on the secondary market. Most shops are pushed to buy certain products and then it sits. Don't you want them to have liquidity after you get paid so you can buy more? This is why monopolies are illegal. Yes, and I think that was a part of a discussion. I talked to the guy that called me yesterday. We had a chat earlier this week, and that was like a big question a lot of shop owners had was, you're going to make me buy this crap and it's not going to sell. And that ties up money that you could buy the stuff you really want. So I don't know if that was cleared up or not. I think it will be. We'll see. Let's see. Your thoughts on Traded and Tiffany? I mean, Tiffany's always been a good product. The Topps Traded sets, I just don't see much. I don't see much value in those years, unless you cherry pick. I mean, 86 Topps Traded is a great set if you cherry pick it, but and you'll get much more value if you're selling singles. You'll get more value selling singles by cherry picking than a complete set. Where we at? Dave Marnell, I'll be selling cards in Wildwood, New Jersey tomorrow through the weekend on the boardwalk. Stop by, free entry, Convention Center in Wildwood. Have a few friends that own shops in different parts of the country. Certain sports sell in certain parts of the country, and then within those, only certain products, higher end, more popular. Absolutely. Let's see. The rest of, so this is point 8 in the letter that they sent out, Topps sent out to card shop owners. Retailers shall not use its account for personal shopping, and products shall not be used for repacks unless authorized in writing in advance. I don't think, at least I wasn't told any updates on that. Retailer may use Topps products for in-store breaks, provided that breaking slots may not be sold or solicited online or to anyone not physically present in retailer store at the time of the break. So this was a big one, especially for card shops that do breaking. So this Topps walked back on. So breakers that have direct accounts, they can sell their slots online. I think there may be a caveat, not on eBay, not on third-party sites. I'm not 100% sure on that, but definitely they can sell them online through their own platforms. Further, the direct buying program is for established brick-and-mortar retail stores only, which have 4 walls and which are not contained within another larger store or retail environment. Online-only retailers are not eligible for this direct buying program. Any account found non-compliant with the foregoing may be terminated immediately. So that was in point 8, and then point 13 was another important one. The rest of it was just kind of standard stuff. Retailers shall, on a quarterly basis or at such other frequency as Topps may require, submit to Topps complete and accurate reports regarding total sales of Topps product sales by channel, in-store, online, convention, customer type, was it a retail, consumer, dealer, convention, and social media metrics for all platforms, including without limitation, Facebook, Insta, all those stuff. Additionally, upon request, retailers shall participate Topps's point-of-sale programs and in surveys distributed by Topps on topics such as overall operations information, sales, number of employees, etc. Customer reactions to the products or product breaks, current view of the market and varying market dynamics, product or process feedback to improve the direct selling experience. For clarity, in no event with retailer provide Topps with any personally identifiable information regarding its customers, employees, or otherwise. I don't think any of that was walked back. I think Topps does want that, which is pretty standard amongst most products that are sold in stores. The one thing they did specify, we do want you to, you will have, not we don't want you to, you will have Topps separated within your store. You will have a Topps section, which I think that's fair, point of sale. And that's pretty common amongst most products that you see in stores. Okay. So that was pretty much, that was the updates. It was basically on the first, that point 8 that was in the letter. That was where there was a lot of non-clarity. It was clear as mud that was cleared up. John says Topps Traded sets one of the delineations of vintage. How many people who were, so now you're moving the meter up, because 81. Now we're at 81, not 1980. How many people who were angry by a majority of their stuff online not tied to a local LCS? Was Ruben a lawyer before he started Fanatics? What's the LCS closing percentage meter at? 80%. Angel Baby cards. I'm curious, are you realizing, though you buy mini cards because of hi-ho cherry-o picking, that's the monster boxes, aren't worth quite as much? Your learned thoughts. It all depends on what you're buying. All depends on what you're buying. I mean, every box I buy is different in terms of the monster box. If I'm buying bulk, Every box is different. Of the ones that opened during the rush, I would assume 90% unless they opened under the guise of being a breaker first. Does it say anything about selling at card shows? I think that was in the point 13 regarding channels, conventions. I would say conventions, shows are the same. The National Sports Collectors Convention is just a giant card show. So I would say card shows is the equivalent of conventions in their phrasing in this letter. Let's see. We should open packs for Festivus. Traded sets on the other side of the line. Modern in 1981 on because of separate recited sets. How does this all affect Jeff Wilson and the hobby we love? I don't know. Time will tell. So that's what I had today. I'm going to go get some coffee and do some shipping. I think I'm going to do some listing. I did find a box of 84. 84 Donruss is a sneaky good seller on eBay. One of the best sets of the 1980s. So I've got a partial set of 84 Donruss I'm going to list today on eBay. I heard conventions in regards to conventional, my bed. So hit the like button if you haven't already. Thanks for tuning in. How about that? We went an hour 16 with only 14 minutes devoted to the topic. I think that's par for the course. So have a great day. It's Thursday. I'm going to go watch some baseball tonight. South Bend Cubs are in Beloit. So I've got they had one first row seat right behind home plate. I snagged it yesterday. John, thank you. Have a great day. So like, subscribe, eBay store, link in the description. We'll be back tomorrow morning, 7-ish a.m. Central Daylight Time, I think. I think we're in daylight. Yeah, we're in daylight savings time now. So have a good one. We'll talk tomorrow.